If you find value in the content we provide, consider the tip jar. All the details are in the show notes of every episode. Thanks in advance. This has been an ACB community call.
Today's Unmute Presents community call was hosted on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. And I was going to wait for the disclaimer. Thank you, Desi. But then I realized we don't have one because
there won't be a disclaimer. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this Unmute community call. My name is Michael. Usually Marty starts us out, so bear with me if I stumble. He's off traveling, and he'll be back when we bring Unmute back in 2 weeks. I'm going to run down a couple of things that we have published on the Unmute podcast feed. While I'm doing that, I have a question for you, and if you have a tech question, please get your hands up, and we'll take those hands in the order that they come. First of all, I want to thank Michael D. For being here and helping out, because he doesn't know it yet, or maybe he does and I just forgot, but he's going to be helping me out with answering some questions.
Yep.
Perfect, Michael. So thanks a lot. So yesterday we published Technically Working, and that was Damasi and I. We sat down and we talked about some of our plans for convention. Also talked interestingly about Pirate Ship and the tool that we use to be able to ship out our products that we have, and to be able to ship each other's stuff. So very in-depth discussion. Hopefully you'll check that out. On Sunday, I sat down and retouched on ChatGPT. Nope, I did not. Damasi sat down and retouched on ChatGPT and showed you how he's actually using it and the way he's configured it. I'm going to ask Michael if he remembers so he can explain it. Michael, there's an episode here that we published of the IA cast, and it's called Furry Luggage. Can you tell people what you talked about?
We're back to putting very interesting, funny titles for the IA cast, and we talked about basically the best ways to travel and some good techniques, not just the technology, but some techniques that you can utilize to travel during convention season and beyond. So it's a very good episode.
Yeah, very, very fun. I just realized before I go over these next two episodes that I didn't tell you the question that I want to let you know. And that question is, what's your favorite app to use while traveling? Or to word it differently, what's an app you need to have up and configured and on your phone when you're traveling? For me, I realized it was Uber, and I needed to go update my payment method. So I'm getting all that taken care of. And it's now become TripIt as well. I just signed up for a TripIt Pro trial, and we'll see if I keep that, because that's super nice that it keeps all your flights and your hotel information and anything else you forward to plans at tripit.com in your in one account. Michael, do you have any apps that you have to travel with?
Mine is pretty much Lyft. That's how I get around. I'm a big fan of that. There's so many out there, but Lyft and Find My, so I could find my stuff.
Yeah. I'll probably download Lyft too, because I like to comparison shop. So raise your hand, let us know about yours. Friday, Lynn and Marty sat down and talked about EU battery regulations, the Tweezcake app, and the Apple Vision Pro headset, and some developments there. And then on Thursday, keeping in the theme of traveling, Damasi and I sat down and chatted about tips and tools for staying safe on the go. Yes, we mentioned a VPN, but I promise you that's not all we talked about. Definitely worth giving that a listen. So that is a quick recap of what we have published in the last week. You can find that at Unmute in your favorite podcast platform. Let's go ahead and take that first hand.
Okay, we do have somebody in Clubhouse, so shall we start there?
Sure, let's start there, Desi.
All right, go ahead, Brad.
We have Janet. Janet, you're on the stage, and I believe you're unmuted.
Good morning, everybody. Or afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I would have to say Uber and Find My, because I like to find my friends wherever I go.
There you go. That makes sense, Janet.
Somebody said Find My is your stalker app. You can stalk people with it.
Well, you can do what you need to do with your tools, and remember, you can control the privacy settings with Find My. I don't use Find My to find friends. I just use it to find the boys when I'm like, "Where are you, boys?" So thank you, Jen.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
But anyway, I liked your what do you put in your tech bag podcast.
Well, appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
All right, have a good day.
You as well, and thanks for listening, Desi.
All right. Next is Herbie. Good morning, Herbie.
Good morning. Well, first of all, for me, it's going to be a little bit different because Uber is an essential app to have all the time that I need around the apartment. So I don't consider it it's important for travel, but mine would be Audible and making sure that the books are downloaded ahead of time because I may or may not have access to Wi-Fi on the airplane. So that would be my travel answer. Now, I've got a couple of hard-hitting questions for you to get your brain juices flowing. And they are, the first one is Windows related, actually. So a friend asked me the other day if they could figure out the password to a mobile hotspot that they are connected to. We found the password field at least one way, but it's just showing as completely blank. And they want to see the actual password. So I'm just wondering if you have any ideas about that. And as an alternative, if this would make it easier, they have an Android phone. So I don't know if that would be easier on that to see the password for the hotspot that they are connected to.
Michael, do you have any idea? Because I don't know of a way to see the password once you've already entered it. What I would do if I needed to is go change the password on the hotspot that I'm connecting to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would do. But also, Android, I think, probably has a show password field. So I would probably look there first. I don't know of a place in Windows that would have that. So I would.
Because Google said that you could go to the Wi-Fi properties, go to the security tab and check the box that says show characters. That's what it recommended.
But it's not showing the characters?
It's not.
Yeah. I don't have any other ideas. I don't know of a third-party tool.
So I wonder if you could do show characters and then copy it, even if the screen reader doesn't read it. That's the only thing I could think of.
I suggested that, and it was blank too. And they even had a sighted person look at the screen, and it was also blank for them. So
that's interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
No, don't have an answer on that one.
Okay. Then another quick one, because I've been wondering about this. Are there any good guides on how to create an Alexa skill?
So, believe it or not, Amazon has a lot of great guides. They even have example source code. But one of the things that it makes it very easy for that is the A-Lady blueprints. So I believe it's blueprints.alexa. I have so many of them around here. I just don't dare say.
Right. Yeah.
She who must not be named.
She who must not be named. Yep.
.com. So, you could go there and make your own skills, and then you could publish them to the skill store. I've actually made several that way. And they have a bunch of different templates. Like you could even make a streaming skill. You can make all kinds of stuff. Now remember, anything that you create with that needs to have an HTTPS URL.
Okay.
So if you do create a skill with a lady, it must be behind HTTPS. I have seen streams that are not. So
our streams are, I think, so for what I want. So that'll be the problem.
But here's a trick. If your stream is not, make a playlist file like an M3U.
Yep.
Put the HTTP URL in that M3U, put it on a web server, you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then that's easy enough. Perfect. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Herbie. Thanks, Mike, for your help with that. And Desi, who do we got next?
All right, Monica.
Long time no talk, Monica.
Hello.
Hello.
The two Michaels and the Desi. I have a couple of questions. One is, I would like to wear a comfortable over-the-ear headset that's wired. And I have the Bose wonderful QC35, but because I have that on, if my husband's talking to me while editing, I can't hear him. So I wanted something comfortable that I could use for a long period of time, but that I could still hear someone if they're calling for me or whatever. And my second question, well, should I wait?
Well, I'll give you, so headphones is a can of worms that I'm willing to open, but everyone's going to have differing opinions. I'm sure Michael have something different than me. We at AT guys have the USB headset. I don't wear that all day to edit, but you definitely could, because it would be pretty comfortable, especially the mono one, because it'll just sit on one ear and keep your ears open. I use a AKG pair of headphones that plug into my audio interface. The nice thing about the AKG is if you're plugging it into, and this is standard with headphones, so it's not just these headphones, but if you plug it into a 1/4 inch, so the larger one, then you can just fine, and it has a screw-on tip. So if you need to plug it into the 1/8 inch, like maybe you're just taking a Mac Mini to convention and you're not bringing your audio interface, you don't think, then you can just go ahead and unscrew the tip of that in and plug it into the regular 1/8 inch headphone jack. And they're partially open back, which means I can hear things around me, but it doesn't isolate me, but they are a little larger, so I don't recommend them in video. Michael, what about you?
So here's I guess my question is, what is the budget that you're looking for these?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay. So, and both of these work. And in fact, I might have to go steal Taylor's for a little bit and see how they go. One headset that I've really liked that's over the ears is, and this does both wired and Bluetooth, is the Surface headphones. And what I like about these is that they are Bluetooth headphones, but they have a fantastic transparency mode. In fact, sometimes you can have like an amplified transparency mode, and so every sound around you is amplified and just louder. And it has a cable that you can connect to the headphones to your computer. And unlike the AirPods Max, when the battery goes down completely in these headphones, they will keep working as wired headphones. So, and they even have a mic on the cable, which sounds decent. It's not terrible. So, if you're wanting some good editing headphones or just some really good headphones in general, they pair really well with Windows. If you're using Bluetooth, but on wired mode, they work fantastic. So, that's ones I prefer.
Perfect. And my next question is about your podcasts.
Okay.
Okay, no, it's a good question,
Mhm.
because I just want to know, like, is IAcast, does that hold everything, or do I subscribe? Because I'm subscribed to IAcast and Unmute Presents.
Good
So
question.
I
That
didn't
is.
really know. So I thought that's a good question to ask you both. And those are all my questions for today.
Tackle that, Michael.
So the IAcast is a podcast that I do. It's a roundtable, and Michael and Marty and Damasi come on, and we do other little demos and things like that when stuff comes around. Unmute Presents. You guys they have a schedule every day of some new content. So I would follow both feeds. And we actually have one newer episode of the IAcast that is out now. Came out yesterday. So I would follow both feeds and subscribe both places so you get all of the content.
That's what I did.
Well, we appreciate it, Monica.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good way to explain it. So IAcast, if you are subscribed to Unmute, you'll get the IAcast, but it's going to be a week dated. So if you want to get the up-to-date IAcast itself, you'll want to subscribe to that podcast, and you'll get that content a week early. If you're like, I don't really care, I can just delete the one when it finally comes to Unmute and subscribe to both of them. And you're going to see other podcasts kind of that way, because we've heard some feedback from people. Hey, I only want to get the Shell Phone Show. I don't care about you and Damasi talking tech and other things. So you'll start seeing that format for the other content probably shortly after convention. But thank you, Monica. I appreciate that.
And just want to add in one more thing. If you download the iAccessibility app, you can get all of the content there as well. And we have a live radio station where you can hear all kinds of stuff. So
lots of content. Of content. Desi, who do we got next?
All right. Next is Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hey there. So I had a weirdness happen with my iPhone the other day when I was out and around, away from Wi-Fi, checking my mail, and I got an alert that said I needed to turn on cellular data, which I always thought happened just automatically. I've never ever seen that. I rebooted the phone, same thing happened. I haven't, this was the other day. I have not been able to see if that is still happening because my Wi-Fi is like, if I'm outside my home, I can be down the block and I'm still connected to my own Wi-Fi. So any thoughts on why that would have happened? I've never seen that. Like I said, I just thought it just happens automatically, that it would just revert to cellular data if there's no Wi-Fi connection.
I have some ideas. So number one, and Michael can jump in here if he has any additional thoughts. Number one, your cellular data, were you trying to use Siri or were you trying to use a specific application?
I was using a specific app and checking my mail. And once I turned on the cellular data, I got mail that I hadn't gotten and news alerts that I had not gotten.
Yeah. So if you want to verify it just before you go in, what you can do is go to settings and then go to cellular and check the settings there for cellular data. I don't know if an update had disabled it or if at some point a setting just got changed. But yeah, that's what it's telling you, is that cellular data is disabled because some people still have cellular plans that have limitations on the data. I'm on an unlimited data plan. So and it is possible, I don't know your carrier or details, that possibly your phone received an update from your carrier that says, hey, disable the cellular data and make the customer re-enable it manually. Additionally, if you're using apps such as podcast apps or Apple TV, it's not to, or you shouldn't be surprised if you get a prompt that says, hey, do you want to allow this app to use cellular data? Because they just want to verify that you're okay with, hey, this might take a lot of data. So if you're on a limited data plan, be aware of it. Again, settings, cellular, and then check your cellular data. It'll either be off or on, and I suspect it's off right now.
Okay, so it should be on, even though if I connected to Wi-Fi, I should always have cellular data on for when I'm out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If you were out and you had cellular data off, then you would not be getting any internet related notifications or mail or anything like that when you're using your phone.
Okay. All right.
And I was a little confused with your question. You were saying that you turned it on and you got all kinds of mail that you hadn't gotten before and things like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, when I got that alert, and I went into settings and I turned it on, and then I got stuff that I hadn't gotten since I had left my home where I have Wi-Fi.
Oh yes.
So, but like I said, I never paid any attention to whether that's off or on. It's just always, I get cellular data when I'm out, and when I'm home, I'm on my Wi-Fi. So I never paid attention.
Sounds like
I would check settings, cellular, and make sure that cellular data switches on. And then just for clarification, as long as you're on your Wi-Fi, look, we're getting ready to add a new hotspot that'll give us Wi-Fi almost to the store. And I'm super excited for that after convention, Michael. Don't spend money before convention. But it'll be nice. But once I get past that mark where we'll lose internet service with cellular data on, that's when it will switch over. So as long as that switches on, it'll always use your Wi-Fi unless you tell it not to. And then once you leave Wi-Fi, it'll switch over to cellular.
And you could also change that setting in Control Center as well.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because then it was giving me just all kinds of other things. Will make about other things to do when I have to go back onto Wi-Fi, which I thought was just redundant. I figured as long as my Wi-Fi set up, it's going to go. It's going to just yeah. Okay, all right. I will double check that.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you're on Wi-Fi and your phone and Wi-Fi is not working, or your internet is down, or lack of signal, there is a setting, I think it's on by default, that will use cellular data if your Wi-Fi is not available. So keep that in mind if you have a limited data plan.
Right, which I don't. Yeah, so that's not an issue. But thanks. All right, I will double check that. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Who do we got next, Desi?
All right, Beth is next.
Hey, Beth. And before you go, Beth, real quick, I just want to remind people, if you're listening, we are looking for apps that you find to be essential or apps that you have to use while you're traveling. So if you have any of that, feel free to raise your hand and share that with us. Beth, go ahead. Okay. Beth, we're going to go on to the next hand, and if you are able to unmute, go ahead and raise your hand up again. Who do we got there next, Desi?
She has asked. Blah, blah. I haven't asked to unmute thing for her, but she is not unmuted. So,
Yep.
So let's see. Barbara is next.
Hey, Barbara.
Hi. I want to know what you have for recommendations for pet collars for tracking. I have been looking into this recently since I got some new pets. I am totally blind, so it's not large print or anything. And I've learned a bunch, but it seems that there's not a lot that I have found that's accessible. And just FYI, Apple does not recommend you use their air tags on pets. So, although I know people do it. So, do you have any suggestions?
I laugh because that was literally going to be my suggestion. Yes, they do recommend you not use them on pets. I don't have any other suggestions. Michael, do you?
Well, my first question is, why do they recommend that? That's very interesting.
Because if the pet, I mean, maybe there could be other reasons, but my thought is if the pet, they knock that off, I guess. I don't really know.
I don't remember all the reasons. I don't think it's designed for pet abuse. And I have cats.
Well,
and
that might
be a little heavy.
Yeah.
And also, there's also some issue about how secure you can attach it to a collar, given that pets, work on things.
Well, they do make different kinds of like I know they make keychains and other things that can hold air tags. So there's different ways of doing that. That would have been my first recommendation because
and liability.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's that, but I know people use tiles and they use the tracker. I think obviously air tags are the most accessible way to do that, but that would be the only way that I would think to do that. I guess it depends on the size of the animal too. But yeah, that would be the only way I would imagine to do that.
There was a lot of collars out there. Like I said, I've been researching in past couple weeks, and there's 3 different kinds of collars, and then each one has their own set of criteria. But for example, all the GPS ones use a lot of maps, and I thought, well, that's not going to work for me.
Now, maybe there's a collar that has Find My capabilities.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Add that to your search for Find My compatible collars, because then you can track the Find My as an item in your Find My app.
Okay. Anything else? I appreciate all the help I can get because I just was trying to see what the Brain Trust here had any ideas.
Yeah, if anyone else has any ideas, feel free to let us know. And now I'm frantically Googling Find My compatible collars. So we'll see if I come up with anything. But that would be a great suggestion there, Michael. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And it is, in my case, it is for cats. So you have to have it, light enough for them.
And I want to point out before we move on, Prime Day is the 11th and 12th, so it's a great time to
so if you find something, I would wait till then to see if it goes on sale. Desi, who do we got coming up next?
Next is Marie.
Hey, Marie.
Hello. How are you guys today?
Great. And yourself?
I'm good. If it's okay, I have a recommendation for Monica on the headset.
Okay, go for it.
I use a Sennheiser USB wired headset, and they are so lightweight. They're just, I can wear them all day long if I want to sit that long. I'm not using them right now because I wanted to be mobile, but they have a little bit of noise cancellation, but it's not extreme. So you can still hear other things going on around you. It does have a boom microphone, which if you want to use it on Zoom makes it excellent because every time I use them, people say they sound really, really good. And the mic, it does have some noise cancellation. So it helps weed out the background noise in a Zoom call. And they run about $45. And I'm sorry, I don't have the item number, but Amazon has them.
Gotcha.
And they're really
Sennheiser,
outstanding.
right?
Sennheiser. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Very good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that. And we appreciate it. Who do we got next, Desi?
Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
I'm sorry. I was having lunch. I had to put down the fork and find the unmute button. I apologize.
No worries. I get it.
Yes, sir. So I've just got 2 questions. And so I've got some AirPods 2nd gens I bought about a year ago. I charge the case every night. I'm noticing they're not having holding a charge. I can get a good 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes before they die. I don't know if there's normal, if there's anything I can do for that. I know it's a shame.
So I am a avid AirPods wearer, and I've probably had 6 sets of AirPods over the existence of the AirPods. I think my mother still has my original set, and she gets about 15 minutes of battery out of them now.
Oh, wow. Get your money's worth.
So that happens because you have to charge them so many times, and the battery just loses health so quickly if you use them, often. And if they're still in warranty, Apple will do a replacement. But they do have ways to detect the battery health, believe it or not, because I went in and had questions about that. But yeah, it's a known thing because of I'm constantly wearing an AirPod, so it's a known thing. They're just going to die quick after a few years.
Gotcha. Yeah, they get constant daily usage. You probably see about getting another set of second gens because they're like, well, my cousin used to tease me about having Apple ears because any other headphones, either they put pressure on the ear in a way that's uncomfortable and I can't wear them for long, or they just fall out. Where these, I have them in. And
have you tried
I can't
the third gens?
No, I've read about them. I run a tech group. I have, so I have read about them. I've never actually seen them or tried them though. I don't. Most of my family are Android people.
I would check out the third generations. They're very similar. They don't have the ear tips like the Pros, but they do fit similarly to the originals. They're a little bit thicker, but they don't have as long as a stem, and they sound much better than the second gens.
Okay, thank you. And my other question I have, I'm trying to make the switch from Apple Podcasts to Overcast. A friend recommended it to me. Is there any easy way to get that stuff transported over, or am I just going to have to go in there and search the podcast one by one and follow them that way? Or is there a quicker way to do it?
To the best of my knowledge, and one of the reasons why Apple will never get me to use their native podcast app, you cannot export your podcast list for use in a different application.
You can share your list. You could share each podcast individually, but no, you can not, as far as I know, export. I still use the Apple Podcast app because I just like the experience, but
right.
Yeah, I totally understand.
I like it. They've just made it so hard to delete the played downloads, after they've already been listened to, and that stuff kind of accumulates.
At least in 17, on each episode on the now playing on the first tab, there's a little menu now, and you can remove the download. So they've made that very much easier.
Oh, hallelujah. Okay, thank you.
Glad to help. Desi, who do we got next?
Nora.
Hey, Nora.
Yeah, hello.
I think you got a new phone, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a new phone. It's an Android phone, and the model is TCL A3X, but it is an Android, and what I'm having trouble is getting rid of these notifications. But even though I have notifications on the settings, I have notifications turned off, but I'm still getting notifications on the phone, and it's kind of freezing up my phone.
What kind of notifications are they?
Well, the kind of notifications is like check it. It's like Folder Master, and the cleaning it's the hang on, I gotta get rid of something here. It's oh my gosh. It's Folder Master and cleaning all the apps that clean the memory and clear up the space, the storage space in the memory. And they keep showing up when I don't want them. Plus, I got apps that I do not want on there.
So, let me see what version of Android this phone is using. Let's see.
It's around 6. I think it's version 6 something.
If it's 6, then you should get a new phone because that is a super old version of Android. Yeah, you said A3X?
It's A3X. TCL A3X. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, tell you what, hang out here for a little bit. I'll do a little bit of research. I'm sure Michael may do some Googling too. And if we come up with an answer for how you can remove some of the stock apps, then we can let you know. Otherwise, it may be time to get a newer phone.
Looks like Android 11.
Oh, Android 11. Okay, that's still okay. Not ideal because it's a couple years old, but still. So you should be able to go into the settings and then go into your list of applications. I believe there's an applications list in settings. How to remove. So let me do some quick Googling, Nora, and then we will get back to you on that one. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Desi, who do we got next?
Next is Deborah Jackson.
Hey, Deborah.
Thank you. How you doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
Doing good. On the data, you were saying to keep it on. Like I'm in the Zoom meeting with you guys now, and then want to leave out the door, but that's when I'm trying to figure out how am I to get it adjusted to go directly to the data, like I'm going down the elevator and leaving out the door, because then I lose you guys for a little while.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, what phone are you on?
iPhone 12.
Yep. So that transition period going from Wi-Fi to cellular, especially when using a VoIP call app like Zoom is, voice over internet protocol, you're going to lose people. What I would recommend doing, and Michael may agree or disagree with this, is if you think you're going to leave and you don't want to lose people at all, turn off your Wi-Fi for the day, or at least for that time, and then join the Zoom call, because then you won't lose people when you leave your house.
Correct.
Good idea. Okay.
But if you're going in an elevator, you just may not get signal in that elevator at all.
Elevators are horrible for cell phone signal.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be right down the hall and then I'll be losing you. So turn the Wi-Fi off
and then join the Zoom call. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Real quick, I'm going to loop back on Nora's question, and maybe Michael found something different, but it looks like, Nora, if you pull up a list of your apps that you have and you can tap on and hold on the application, it's going to pop up a menu that you choose the app info option, and then you choose uninstall to be able to remove the application. If it doesn't let you do that, then the manufacturer of the phone has prevented those applications from being removed. But I would try that first, is to tap and hold on the app, choose application info, and then choose uninstall. Desi, who do we got next?
All right. Next we have iPhone Uncle.
Hello, iPhone Uncle One Eye.
Yeah. You can go ahead and unmute, please.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
There you are.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Some people know me as Eric. I have an iPhone 11, and I keep getting cloud memory full, and I just had this phone replaced, and even at the Verizon store, she checked, and I have like 75% of cloud storage showing in my phone, but yet I keep getting that message. Why is that?
Does it specifically say cloud memory full?
Yes, it
or
does.
iCloud storage full?
iCloud.
So, Michael, do you have any ideas on that?
I do.
Okay.
One thing that really fills up that I've seen, if you have a free iCloud account, one thing that I've seen that really fills up your iCloud quickly is iCloud backups. And, if you have multiple phones and different things, the iCloud backups and your photo library can fill it up pretty quickly. You can check it by going to settings, the settings app, I believe, click on your name, and then you could go to iCloud and you could check iCloud storage there, and you could see if that's the case. You could also see what's actually taking up the space on your phone, and clear that out if you need. But if it's not that, there's iCloud Drive if you're saving things there, or even mail. Like, there's a lot of different possibilities. But if it's just on a new phone, it sounds like it sounds like the backups to me. But
so if I have like a lot of Gmails that say are spams that I haven't like deleted or anything like that, that could be an issue.
your Gmail is saved on Google, so it's not on iCloud.
Okay.
But if you do have iCloud email, then it would take a lot to fill up your iCloud mail.
Now,
yeah, and see, that's what the rep at the store said. She checked in my settings and said that she didn't understand what the problem was, and that was just a glitch in the system. But
so yeah, what I would actually recommend too, when you get this error again, because it sounds like it's pretty regular, one thing you can do is reach out to Apple Accessibility, and they can screen share with you to verify what this notification is, and then maybe ask them if they're able to help you finding what's taking the space. Another thing, I don't know how you are about pictures, but this caught me forever. If you record videos or pictures, and then you get that my iCloud is full, and you go in and you delete everything, and you can't figure out why it's not emptying out, they actually don't delete, they go into a trash, and you have to go empty that trash, and that can be taking your storage too.
Okay. So how do you empty the trash?
If I remember right, you tap on the albums, and then you go into your photos, you tap on albums, and I believe there's an archived or trash album in there that you want to go clear out.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate you. All right.
No problem.
Bye.
Who's up next, Desi?
Greg is
Greg.
Yeah, how's it going? I've got an iPhone 11. It's doing something ridiculous. Every so often, it gets really, really hot. I've noticed it goes down within an hour from like 97 down to like 85%. It only happens once in a while. Usually it's fine. I can leave it on charge. It's fine. But every so often it does that. It gets really hot. I'm not sure if it's time to get rid of it or if there's some application that might be doing that, because it goes down like in an hour from like 10% in 1 hour, and it gets really warm. It should be charging, but it's discharging. Or once in a while in your pocket, it might do that. So I'm not sure exactly what's causing it. But, I can upgrade for $100, maybe $200 to a 14, but I was trying to make the 11 go a little longer if I could, So I thought I'd ask. Any ideas?
So, first of all, when this happens, this is my natural thing, and I'm sure Mike will have some ideas too, possibly. Have you tried to open, like when you start noticing that it's getting warmer, opening the app switcher by double pressing that? Note the iPhone 11 has the slide up. So you slide your finger up to the second one and closing all the apps?
Yeah. What I've done is I've cut it off and just let it sit for a few minutes and cut back on. That seems to do it. If you just turn it off and turn it on, it doesn't seem to cool off. But if you just cut the thing off, let it sit for a little while, then it cools off and you fire it back up. You're fine for a while. So I don't know if the battery's just getting ready to have a problem or not.
There are certain apps that can cause the phone to they're basically hanging in the background, and so their process is, the one thing that most people forget is the phone's just basically a computer. You use Alt Tab and Windows Command Tab on Mac, but your apps are still open in some capacity, or certain ones are that have permissions to do so. So certain apps that are trying to update data or something, and they have a problem, and so the app just hangs and keeps trying and makes your phone hot, and it's just closing that app. Now, I'm not recommending that you always go in and close your apps all the time. That's actually another issue entirely. But, if you do notice that, I would just go close some apps. And interestingly, VoiceOver will tell you, or at least it did. I don't remember if it still does. I haven't checked in a while. It will tell you if the app is running. And that's fairly interesting because if that app is running in the background or not. Visually, there's no indicator, but for VoiceOver users, you do get, it will say running. And so you can know, hey, this app may be causing a problem. I may want to close it. So,
well, there was one time when it was plugged in for charging, and it said charging stop. Is it too hot to charge or something like that? So I figure that it's just something in the battery, because these things do go bad eventually. It's about 2 years old.
Yeah,
So
that's starting to sound like a battery issue almost.
So I'm thinking it is.
It could be the battery, or when you're doing anything graphically intensive or certain things like the apps are running, if the phone was already hot, it could be still the apps. But I would, for safety's sake, I would go ahead and get it looked at.
Yeah, I'm thinking about just upgrading. Maybe it's $100 difference if you trade it on a 14 or something like that. So I'm thinking that might be an idea.
That'll be a big change too.
Yep.
From an 11 to 14, is that much different?
Oh yes.
Yes.
What was it, faster or something?
You'll notice it'd be a lot more responsive. And that's I'm on a 12 right now, and when I use my wife's phone, I'm surprised because she's on a 14 with how much faster it is. And when you're swiping through, or if you're exploring by touch, that speed does make a difference. And then it registers your double taps. I feel a little snappier. Could just be that I've spent a lot of money on her phone. The other thing that I would say about the iPhone 14 is I think the screen's slightly larger too, which might not sound like a big thing, but if you're a Braille screen input user, that can help too.
Yeah, but it'll
She
fit.
has
You
the
can fit in your
14
pocket.
Pro
Like,
Max.
yeah, like
It'll
with the
still fit in
11.
your pocket. Yep.
Okay, because I want to make sure because I went from the 7 to the 11. That was a bit of a change. I don't want to get any bigger. This is big enough. Otherwise, So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Who do we got next there, Desi?
All right, we're going to try Beth again.
Hey, Beth.
Oh, hey, do
There
you
you
hear
are.
me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I don't know what happened before, but this phone seems to be doing weird things sometimes. But I was going to ask, you mentioned about Wi-Fi. Yeah, at my mom and dad's, they don't seem to know they aren't. My dad's a little more techie than my mom, but they aren't really that techie, so they don't really know the name of their Wi-Fi. And it says LTE. My phone doesn't. Their phone, I think they're connected to Wi-Fi, but what setting is it like? Because obviously then I can't do YouTube and then I'll be using data. And I don't know for unlimited data. It seems like our plan is, but I really am not sure.
So
Okay.
if it says LTE, then you're right. You're not connected to their Wi-Fi unless someone's evil named the Wi-Fi LTE, but you would still know that it says Wi-Fi. I'm thinking about doing that now with one of these Wi-Fi networks.
Visually, you couldn't do that, but
yeah, I get it. Michael, do you have any thoughts?
Yes. So, like, if you have, if you're seeing LTE, like Michael said, you're still on cellular. You just want to make sure that you are connected, that you have the right Wi-Fi password, and things like that. You might also, if it says that you have added the network, but it's still saying LTE, you may want to forget the network and then reconnect again, put the password in again, and see if that does the job.
And then one other thing to answer your original question there, Beth, if you need to find the Wi-Fi network, number one, you can check on your parents' phones and see what it says that they're connected to. That'll give you the name. But as Michael said, you need the password. So most instances, unless you've went in and customized it, which I do recommend you doing, but in this case, it could save you because they didn't. The information to connect to the Wi-Fi network should be located on the bottom or back of the Wi-Fi router itself.
Oh, so I'll have them look at that because they can probably look because they're sighted, so and they have Android, so but they can look at their Wi-Fi and because I know it's something cats, and I thought it just said cats, but obviously there's something before it because I typed the right password, but the Wi-Fi name I just thought it was just cats, but yeah, must be something before it. And I also had a question. I tried Windows Media Player with NVDA and I didn't get anywhere. So what did you say I could try? You said there was another app or something?
I suggested VLC, I think.
Yes, VLC is a good one.
Yep.
So you install...
you would search for VLC Media Player. It's going to come up on a website called Videoland. That is the correct one, and it is targeted for video users, but you can bring audio into it and listen to playlists of audio, or I believe you can open a bulk amount of audio in VLC and it'll play it one right after another.
And it's Videoland, LAN.
Yeah. Oh, LAN. Yes, Videoland. I think I said land.
You did.
yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. VLC is a great application. It's been around for a long time, so I would check that out.
Yeah, I don't know my media play should work. That's kind of puzzling to me. Maybe it's because a friend said maybe it's media player that's the problem.
Yeah, it could be a few different things, but try VLC there, Beth, and see how that works. Who do we have next there, Desi?
Real quick, before we move on, I want to add, we got a message on Twitter and about our Wi-Fi question earlier, And basically, TalkBack does have a setting for reading out Wi-Fi passwords. I don't believe it's on by default, but you would need a headphone plugged in to make that work. So,
Oh,
yeah, if you're using like your parents, this is for our question that we had at the beginning of the call about getting a Wi-Fi network name.
Yeah.
There is TalkBack has the ability. I don't remember where that setting is, but it does have the ability to read out Wi-Fi passwords if you have your headphones plugged in.
Yep.
Okay.
By default, it does. And then if you go into the TalkBack settings, there's a checkbox that you can check that will actually read it out even if your headphones aren't plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Desi,
Yeah, thank
looks
you.
like we're coming up
Okay,
on 14
Ibrahim
minutes to
is
go.
next.
All right, Ibrahim.
Hi. So admittedly, I have a really old iPhone. Probably the oldest in the school, an iPhone 7.
Okay.
Do plan to upgrade when the 15 comes out. Anyway, I don't use iMessage often because everyone I know uses WhatsApp here in South Africa. It's cross-platform, works.
Yep.
So recently I was on a group in iMessage and tried to type using Braille screen input, and it kept when I switched to Braille screen input, it kept wanting to record a message. I don't know what I was doing wrong. It was so frustrating. I would type it out to someone else and just copy and paste.
Yep. So I believe, Michael, you know where the setting is. So if you go to settings and then you go to messages, scroll down, there's an option that says raise to listen, I believe is the name. And what it's trying to do is when your hand covers the top part of the phone, it thinks you're lifting it up to your ear to record a message. And so that's what you'd want to do is uncheck that, and then you can use Braille screen input properly.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
I don't think you'll have that issue with your 15, just so you know, because I think they fixed that in newer devices.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Malcolm is next.
Hey, Malcolm.
Hi, guys. Excuse me. I was wondering, I've used this Zoom link before with your program, but today when I went into the Zoom link, it asked me for a passcode. It never has before. Is this something new or?
How did you use it? Like, what do you do to access it?
Okay, I have an iPhone. I start off by putting a date in my calendar with the name of the program, and then I copy the Zoom link from the email and put that into location in my phone. So when the program comes up, I click on the calendar, click on the date, and it has join. So I hit the join button, and that's when it said, what's your passcode?
I've had people say that. That's why the best method is to click the link in the community call, because the passcode automatically inserts. Sometimes I've seen that happen, and I don't have an answer for fixing it. Do you, Michael?
So I've never seen it. I've never had it happen to me personally. So I'm not sure if that's very peculiar. It's very interesting. I haven't seen that happen.
I've seen it a couple of times. That's why I always tell people go back to the link. And the other thing, and I appreciate everyone wanting to come, but there may be a time in the future where we might have to change the Zoom link because of making modifications of the settings in the room that can't be changed from an already created link. So the best way to get access to the call is to click that link from the community email sent Monday evening.
Okay.
Thank you. No problem. Thanks a lot for the question.
Donna Browning.
Okay, so I'm having issues with when I use YouTube TV app on my iPhone. It is not responding. I'll touch the screen and try to get it to do what I want to do, and it's freezing. It's not doing anything for me. It might let me scroll to look for a show, but that's about as all it'll let me do. When I go to try to play, it won't let me do it.
I don't use YouTube TV. Michael, do you? I don't remember.
I have. I'm about to be canceling it. I haven't used it in a while. So
have you had that issue? So my first thought, Desi, is I'm so sorry. My first thought here is to try removing the application.
Yes.
Because
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I did was when there was I removed it, and then Apple had an update, with the software. So I did that. Then I put it back on, and it worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it started screwing up again.
Donna, one other thing to try if you haven't yet is to make sure that you have screen recognition disabled on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, make sure screen recognition's disabled. Also, make sure
where is that at?
It would be in your rotor.
Oh, I don't use that.
Okay. Then you can also go to settings, accessibility, voiceover. There's an option in there that says voiceover recognition. If you tap on that, then I believe halfway down the screen is a switch that says screen recognition. There's going to be two things in there. One is image and one is screen. So you want to make sure screen is disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I generally am not using like when I only use voiceover once in a while, and I don't use the rotor yet.
Okay.
I just do basic stuff. So I do everything visually on my phone. So and even when I don't do all that
visually, it's very sluggish.
Yeah, it won't do anything for me.
Oh, visually,
it does exactly what I said.
So
it will freeze.
Let me ask you this: which phone do you have? Out of curiosity,
I have the 13 Max Pro.
13 Pro Max. Okay. Very interesting. The I know you've deleted the app. Have you tried signing out and then back in?
Yes, because it makes me sign in when I re-enter.
Right. So, yeah, that's peculiar. It sounds like either a problem.
I even rated the app and complained, saying this is hoping they'd see that and do something about it.
Yeah,
because one suggestion that because I do see we are coming up on the top of the hour real quick and have one more hand, I believe, two more. Real quick is I don't know if you use Be My Eyes, but I would suggest at this point reaching out to Google through Be My Eyes and asking them if they have any suggestions about why the YouTube TV app would be sluggish for you, and they may have some other things to try too.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for your question today, Donna. Who do we got next, Desi?
Okay, next is Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Hello, and I'm outside. It's a little noisy, a little windy, but hope you can hear me.
We can hear you clear.
For the one who was suddenly having to put in passcode, making a Zoom call. And I do it from calendar all the time. I mean, I put them in my calendar and they work fine until the Zoom link changes. And when the Zoom link changes, I will update it in my calendar. But instead of putting the link in location or call, there's an option farther down in calendar called URL. Well, since it is a link, it's in Zoom, I put it in URL, paste the link, Zoom link into there. And I almost never have to put in a passcode. And if I do, it's usually because the link has changed.
Gotcha. Thank you, Pam. So put that in the URL and then try accessing it from there, and that might help. Appreciate the feedback there. Thanks a lot.
And it just for me, it works so much better.
All right. Thanks, Pam. Desi, who is our last hand?
Our
for
last
today?
person is Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
For the gentleman that has the phone that's heating up, I had the same issue just a few weeks ago. And when I went in, it's a defect in some of the iPhone 11s. And if he takes it in, they'll test it, and it's something about the battery, because I had it heat up so bad in my pocket that it felt like I had put something in there and my pocket caught on fire.
Oh no. Well, so yeah,
wait.
as we suggested, take it in and they'll look at it and they'll be able to let him know if there's something wrong with it.
Right. And they didn't charge me, especially if he has the insurance.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Eric. And that's why I love doing the show, because I always learn something new as well. And on that note, Michael D., I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. It was fun. And Desi, thanks a lot for hosting, and Brad for connecting us in Clubhouse. We really appreciate it. Remember, you can check out Unmute Present in your favorite podcast platform, and super exciting exclusive content coming out on Thursday. I'll give you a hint. There was 5 of us that sat down and had a chat, and 2 of which are from a show called Double Tap Canada. So it was a fun chat with Steven Scott and Sean Priest. So you want to check that out on Thursday on the Unmute podcast feed. And with that, Desi, feel free to close it up and have a great week.
Thanks, everybody.